Hello, I'm Dane, and this is Dane Explains. One of the major issues with terraforming is that most worlds will de-terraform themselves back to their original state over time. Now, this might be able to be overcome with carefully tailored biospheres, like with Mars or Venus. The issue is a bigger one with other small worlds like the Moon or Mercury, because they're too small to retain an atmosphere. Or are they? Let me explain. Small worlds, smaller than Mars, have an issue that they may not be able to retain an atmosphere for more than a couple of centuries. That may sound like a long time, but it's not. To terraform them the traditional way, you need to aggressively upkeep their atmospheres by importing resources. Traditional propositions for terraforming worlds like the Moon, Mercury, and the moons of the outer planets usually rely on a technique called para-terraforming. Para-terraforming will work quite well if you are only going to terraform small areas, like just a single crater. However, the concept of para-terraforming a world would arguably require much more materials than regular terraforming, because it relies on building enclosed structures over the entire surface of the world, usually by overlapping or interconnecting domes. To build worlds over an entire dome would be resource intensive. Also, the domes would need to be protected from meteorites, since if a dome is punctured, it will require repair. Also, the dome would almost certainly require extensive mechanical ventilation to make sure the atmosphere was properly distributed. Of course, that ventilation would also require constant upkeep. It would be nice if we could figure out a way to essentially build a dome over the entire world to prevent the atmosphere from escaping. Technically speaking, this could be done with enough resources. Because of the lower gravity of these worlds, building a world house held up by poles and atmospheric pressure would be possible. Although the world house would still be vulnerable to meteorites and require constant patching and upkeep. Although the higher up you build the dome, the less of an issue the holes would be, because the atmosphere is still being held down by gravity. In fact, if the world house roof was high enough up, like roughly about 500 miles up for the Moon, you could have permanent openings to let spacecraft come and go. As long as you didn't build too many of these holes, the atmospheric loss into space wouldn't be that bad. Is there possibly another way? One that doesn't require an actual physical barrier between the atmosphere and space? Yes, there is, and it comes in a couple of variations. We'll talk about the first one, but the other will be for another video. In order to keep the atmosphere from escaping into space, you need to prevent the individual particles from having a free path into space. One way to do that is by making extremely tiny hydrogen or helium balloons that are 100% impermeable to gas. If you make enough of them and release them into the atmosphere, because they're overall lighter than the atmosphere they're in, they will float to the top. If you have enough of them, they could act as a barrier. You would probably need to make them various sizes and weights to ensure they stratify, to help prevent the air molecules from slipping past them and flying off into space. This technique probably wouldn't be 100% effective, because molecules will still slip through and it would require upkeep, because the tiny balloons would get damaged and destroyed by spacecraft, meteorites, and even radiation. But it could possibly extend an atmosphere's lifespan out to geological timescales. Is there a way to do this without constant upkeep? I think there is, and that's to use engineered organisms, but that'll have to be another video. So stay tuned, and thank you for watching. If you like this video, and other topics ranging from theology to science, please press the like button. Subscribe to my channel and ding the bell to get notified when I post new videos. Also, please support me on Patreon to get extra content and special perks. Link in the description. The more people support me, the more time I can dedicate to making videos like this one. So, until next time, have a great week.